Endurocross is proudly brought to you by Broadlake for reliable business connectivity. Welcome to the HPE Africa News Desk. This week we take in highlights of an Endurocross event held recently in Amamzintoti, Durban, where Dave Peterson is your commentator.
Thanks, Steve, and that's the overhead shot from the King's High School in Amamzintoti for the annual Endurocross, sponsored by FIFA and also proudly sponsored by Yamaha for this year. Proceedings begin with some freestyle motocross, local riders showing how high they can go in the air and doing some real tricks for the crowd. And 50,000 Rand in prize money up for grabs.
One of the best Endurocross tracks we've had. Some big tires, big logs, and some big jumps. They become quite sketchy. The ground's starting to dig up, but what it is, awesome, man.
What an unbelievable job these guys have done, really. They put on an unbelievable show here, and the track's phenomenal, a lot more flowing than what they were before. A little bit of rain last night, so the ground's nice and moist, good traction, and they're expecting 15,000 people here today. So I must say, I'm so excited to hopefully put the beats out front and give them their first win on our debut race.
The race format is there will be qualifying heats throughout the day with a final at the end of the day where the winner will take home 20,000 Rand. And thanks to Cartrack for the helicopter shots, the first heat for the day gets underway. Quite interesting here that Keith Q looks like he's on a trials bike. It says here it's a Sherco, looks like a trials bike, and that first obstacle already claiming a couple of victims as they fall down there. You'll notice on the right hand side there's a little step up there, that is the chicken line that you can take. So they've got a couple of options available to the riders. Number 26 Keith Q on that Sherco. Just behind him, battling there through that log section, is Cullen Simons on a Yamaha. And behind him it's Neil Stewart, who's KTM mounted for this race. The obstacles, well, I can tell you now, they're a lot more difficult than they look. Rickett Duplessis on the Yamaha gets passed by Jason Munro, who's well known as a supermoto rider. So Rickett Duplessis there stuck, as well as J135. That's Cullen Simons Yamaha mounted. And that's not how you're supposed to go over there. I think that could be Darren Clinton on the KTM. Falling down there, bike number 52. It's going the way of 26 Keith Q on the trials bike. You'll notice trials bike really quite easy to go over these obstacles. That's what it's designed for. Chicken run on the outside and the rider on the inside not making it this time around. And that log section once again claiming a couple of riders. I think it is Darren Clinton on the KTM, but a win going to Keith Q with a Sherco. Well done to him. Race number 2, qualifying heat number 2. These are for the pro riders. They call them the gold class. Brian Kappa's in this race, as well as Wade Young and Scott Bouverie. So what will transpire here? Ooh, straight away. Well done on the inside there, Scott Bouverie, but Brian Kappa on the brand new bike. He's out there on the Beta for the very first time, showing what he can do on that motorcycle. So Brian Kappa absolutely loves the Beta at this track. Big jumps as well. Bike number 13, the Red Bull rider with Beta, and that's sponsored by Cayenne Kyalami, and he's here to pick up some prize money. He certainly does mean business. How does he go through the log section? His trials riding experience, you see how he swings the bike around, puts his leg down. 1 penalty point for the foot down if he was riding trials, of course. Those logs, you just got to hit them at speed. Scott Bouverie then with the KTM. We're looking out for Wade Young. Must be behind him right now. There he is, Wade Young on the Criterion Yamaha. Oh, and he falls against that gate post. That could be quite painful, actually. So Wade Young, the winner of the Roof of Africa. We know he can ride a motorcycle, and he's showing us some of the skill there. He'll be looking forward to the final of the day where the big prize money is involved. Brian Kappa, big double jump. That is a huge double jump that he's just managed to cross over there on an enduro bike. This is the 2-stroke Beta, the first time we've actually seen this bike in the country. Scott Bouverie looks well set for that second place, but now he's stuck on the log pile. Oh, and what's he going to be able to do? He's got to get that front wheel over there. Managing just to get the wheel over there and then continues on his merry way. This is Wade Young with the 250cc 4-stroke Yamaha. Probably not the ideal bike for this. You want something a bit lighter. Brandon Warwick Oliver just stuck there as he gets lapped for the second time. No, this is the first time. Sorry about that, Brandon. Kappa through the tyre section. Just got to thread their way through there over the big tractor tyres. This is a tricky section for these riders. Notice he just hops the front wheel over there, and Brian Kappa has got almost half a lap lead as he goes over the doubles for the final time in this race. Huge double jump, and then that log section, little bit of a bridge there, step up, step down. Brian Kappa makes it look so easy, wins the first qualifier for his race for the day. Race number 3. This is a qualifier. A lot of the silver class riders in this race. Chicken Run on the right-hand side. Does look a little bit easier to get over there. You notice the guys on the inside struggling to get over that. J199, that is Torsten Gibbs on a Yamaha. He's riding for the Yamaha support team this time around. KTM stuck there. I think that could be 371. Can't see the numbers there. But it's mayhem down on the track as these log piles get in the way of these riders, and then the big tires. And over the handlebars, down he goes. That's Torsten Gibbs crashing over the handlebars. 212, that's Chase Osman riding for the Criterion Yamaha team. This time around, it's mayhem out on the track, and the spectators are absolutely loving this. And by the way, Endurocross is set to become a world championship event worldwide. Up to now, it's been really confined to America. Chase Osman has got involved with the tires, a little bit of help from some of the marshals there. And the tyre section, quite tricky, but there's a jump next to it, a big double jump, so you can take that line if you really do want. You notice it's got a big cage around the exhaust pipe. That really does save it against the rocks and the logs on this track. So havoc there for C371, one of the Enduro riders taking part. Whoa, and Torsten Gibbs comes short there once again. The KTM takes the lead. I can't see his number, but it could be Justin Greening with the KTM. Whoa, and over the handlebars. That is a huge get-off. Marshall's getting involved, and the silver riders, they make it look quite difficult. It is very difficult indeed. I'd like to see some of that GoPro footage that he's got that on the top of his crash helmet. Justin Greening looks like he's leading this one right now, although a little bit tentatively over that section, but does pick up the checkered flag. The final qualifier for the day. We're on board with Dallin Hall, local rider, and he should be pretty quick around here. Takes the chicken line and immediately gets to the front, almost going over the handlebars. I also see a Suzuki there. That's a German Goldstone, one of the only Suzukis we see in the race. What's happened to Suzuki? Can't see them doing it in off-road. Oh, and it does look like Dallin Hall has got stuck as they come over that second obstacle for the day. Quite difficult, that section. Travis Teasdale having a great ride there on the Criterion Yamaha. That's a 250cc WR two-stroke machine. Jermaine Goldstone with a Suzuki, and just behind him, does look like 439. That's Kyle Hutchinson, also riding for, it says here Kawasaki, so it might not be Kyle Hutchinson actually. 439, Kyle Hutchinson. Said he was entered on the Kawasaki, but that to me looks like a Yamaha. It's all happening down on the track as these riders really find their way through the difficult sections. Pretty tiring as well. Jermaine Goldstone getting stuck, and we're back on board with Dallin Hall. Does he get over the tyre section? Yes, he just manages it this time. Now take a look at this. Imagine being faced with that as you've got to climb up there. Kyle Hutchinson is definitely stuck in that tyre section. Really tough for him. The big double jump. Travis Teasdale on 169 hits that jump in fourth gear. Whoa! And the Suzuki's gone over the handlebars. That is Jermaine Goldstone taking a bit of a tumble there. Back on board with Dallin Hall. Right, how's he going to go over this obstacle? Lift the front wheel, keep a bit of momentum. Pretty tricky there. You can see the marshal standing by, and he picks up the second place from Travis Teasdale. Time for the final. The top contenders should be Brian Kappa and Wade Young. You never can tell in Endurocross who's going to win. Wade Young, the crowd favorite. Waiting for the green light. Brian Kappa with the beater gets the whole shot once again. This is really his game. A trials rider, an enduro rider, a supermoto rider. It really does suit him. Dallin Hall has made it through to the final as well, so he'll be looking forward to earning some prize money. The winner of this race will receive 20,000 Rand in cash. Second place will get 10,000 Rand in cash. So it's well worth sticking your neck out for this one. Brian Kappa doing what he does best. Over that log pile without even slowing down. Round the corner, you can see they put a few more logs in, and he gets rammed from behind by Wade Young. And just behind them, it does look like Scott Brewery. Kyle Hutchinson is in there as well as Travis Teasdale. But this is it, the two men out front. Who's going to pick up the first place? Kappa looks like he's slowing down just a little bit. Ooh, and that, well, I don't know about that, but Wade Young looks like, to me, he didn't go over the obstacle. He went off the side of the track. I wonder if the officials are going to look at that later on. Brian Kappa completes another lap, and Dallin Hall goes through this tyre section, a very tricky section. I think some of the riders would prefer to take the jump just next to the track there. Whoa, whoa, and Wade Wade Young almost over the handlebars with the Yamaha. He's hanging on to Brian Kappa. Kappa is trying to block him. This is coming to a tricky section, and he's got through. Wade Young, for the first time, has got through on Brian Kappa, and Kappa bites the dust. He will be kicking himself. That's the line he's been using the whole day. It's worked for him the whole time. But when it comes down to the crunch, somehow the pressure from this man, Wade Young, just took its toll, and Brian Kappa has slipped down to second place. Wade Young then with the 250 Yamaha is having a tremendous ride, and a KTM ride, that's E8. Scott Bouverie has also taken a tumble. He was lying in third place. Has he managed to stay in third? Yes, he has. So it's Kappa second behind Wade Young, and Scott Bouverie's KTM in third place. Dallin Hall is down in fourth place, but I'm just listening to the bike. Sounds like it's misfiring ever so slightly. Has he got a problem with this motorcycle? You can see this is a tricky section of the track, and that's the area that's been catching out so many of the riders. And once again, somebody just crashing out against the barriers. Quite painful, actually. Back on board with Dallin Hall over that little triple section. Definitely a problem with that motorcycle, and he's come to a stop on the side of the track. Wade Young is looking towards the finish. He's got just a few corners and a double jump to go, and Wade Young is going to pick up the prize money here today at the Amamzintoti Endurocross, and he'll be overjoyed with that. Brian Kappa will be in second place. Scott Bouverie should be in third on E8, and well done to the South Coast Motorcycle Club for putting on yet again a fantastic event in Amamzintoti. If you're in the area next year, make sure you pop along for this.
It was a tough day. I didn't have the best qualify and practice and all of that. I had a bit of, my mooses were slipping and whatnot, and I knew the final was a longer race, and Brian Kappa was really riding well today before finals and all of that, and he was riding well in finals as well, and made a little mistake, and I took advantage of that and managed to pull through and do well.